Welcome back to another episode of the Saints Squad Show. I'm your host, Dylan Sanders of Saints Wire and Pelicans Roundtable, and Tyler Shough is to the New Orleans Saints as Derek Queen is to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, I like that. I'm Ross Jackson, host of the Locked On Saints podcast, and I think the New Orleans Saints are finally on the right track.
I'm Darian Gray of Who Dat Dish. Time to get your brooms out. It's sweep season.
Ooh, I like it.
Orlando!
It's the Saints Squad. Everything New Orleans Saints, every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from down in the Big Easy, the way only Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Saints Squad Show, starting now.
Howdy, Who Dat Nation, and welcome back to the Saints Squad Show, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Say it with me now. Number one, Sports Podcast Network.
Podcast. No, I thought we were supposed to say it. Sorry about that.
Wait, Darian didn't even try.
I spoke with sign language. It's important to be inclusive. So I put this up.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every Sunday and Wednesday. We have a unique group of experts here, ready to bring you a fun and informative show on everything New Orleans Saints. Today, we're going to be doing some Would You Rathers, a little fun game for middle of the week. Let's have some fun with those. We're going to be talking stuff like Tyler Shough versus the rest of the other rookie quarterbacks. What's more important, run defense, pass defense. We're going to go through some draft prospects. It's going to be a pretty fun time. Then we're going to get into our game picks and bold predictions for there is Saints games happening still. And maybe we'll feel better about the winning. So we're going to go through the game this weekend, which is against Ross.
Carolina Panthers.
I was testing you. You passed.
Nailed it.
And then the rest of the season picks, how recalibrating our end-of-year predictions with 4 games left. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. All right, let's start these Would You Rathers. I like playing a game. You know, the Saints can play games all they want. We can play our own games. I want to start with this one. Would you rather have Tyler Shough or your pick of the other rookie quarterbacks from this class? Let's start off with Ross Jackson.
This is the upcoming class, 2026?
No, I was talking about his own class.
Class. Ooh, that's a good question. Would I rather Tyler Shough or like Jackson Dart is the big one that comes to mind.
Maybe you think like Cam Ward. You still believe in Cam Ward, and because he's in a bad situation. But my whole thing is, sorry to jump all over your answer right now. My whole thing is right now you can't use the excuse of he's in a bad situation because Tyler Shough is a New Orleans Saint.
It's fair, very fair. I think the tools of Jackson Dart with Kellen Moore would be so much fun, but I'm really kind of concerned about the carelessness and recklessness with which Jackson Dart plays, and knowing the health issues of the New Orleans Saints. I don't know that I would want Jackson Dart in that situation. He's the only one though. Like Shedeur has been okay. Cam Ward, I think is talented, but I haven't seen enough from him. Man, I think I would ride with Tyler Shough right now, but it would not take a lot to convince me that Jackson Dart would be a better fit.
Would your answer change if it would have been next year's draft class, like your Fernando Mendoza's, Ty Simpson's?
If it was next year's draft class, I'm going Tyler Shough going into 2026, all told. That's easy for me. That's easier for me over next year's draft class.
Okay. Darian, where do you lie?
Well, I also thought it was next year's draft class and it was easy. So I think this is actually a much more interesting conversation. This is a much more interesting conversation. I liked Cam Ward a lot coming out of the draft. So part of me wants to say that Ward would do better because I think that Kellen Moore has done a really good job developing both Shough and Rattler. So if I've seen him develop not just one, but 2 quarterbacks who are young, then I would also like to say he would develop Cam Ward. So part of me wants to do that, but then I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm a very safe person. Like I don't really like taking a lot of risk.
Right, there's a risk involved, right?
Yeah. I've seen it with Shough. And the reason that I think the reason I'm going to go with Shough is mostly because I've seen it and I am scary. And you guys can be mad at me in the comments about it if you want, but I'm going to go with the safe bet because I've seen it. I know what it can be and I know where it's going towards. And I've seen potential not work so many times that once it's already happened, I'm fine because you go from potential to actuality. And right now I have actuality with Shough with the potential of growth. But this one is just all potential. Now, had you asked me after the Falcons game, and it's not that the Falcons game was bad, but I wasn't off of an extreme high like I am right now. So if you would have asked me after being kind of sobered up from that Atlanta matchup, I probably would have said Cam Ward because of all of the tools that I felt like he had, the high ceilings. But as we sit here today, and I'm still high from today, right? Like, give me Shough.
I might have to say Ward. I mean, he was the number 1 overall pick, and so like to ignore that, I feel like I'm making the wrong decision there. So I might have to say Ward would be the one that would make me go, maybe. But man, I like that. I like that round 2 contract a lot too.
That's the other thing. Now hold on, do I get 5th-year option? If we
you would with Cam Ward, but you won't with Shough. But you would get the 5th-year option with Ward.
But then again, if he's that good, is he ever going to hit the 5th-year option? People tend to make these decisions pretty fast. It's so many different variables. Talent for talent, I feel like
that's such a good question, Dylan. That's so good.
Let's look at the numbers real quick. Let's box score watch a little bit. Cam Ward, 59% completion percentage, 2,468 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions in his 13 starts. But he is also the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Sometimes, now, not all sacks are the offensive line's fault. Sometimes it's also Cam Ward's fault. But watching some Titans games, it's mostly the offensive. He is not getting much help from the offensive line. But those are also numbers that don't really strike confidence in a quarterback. Now, looking over at Tyler Shough. Let's see. After 5 starts, 7 games, 65.2% completion percentage, 1,200 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and he's been sacked 17 times. Not the numbers aren't too different. Really. Tyler Shough is on pace to be a little bit more productive, but. Overall, I think the whole point of this conversation is whenever the draft came around and the Saints drafted Tyler Shough in the 2nd round, the sky was falling. And now it's a conversation between him and the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, that's so good. You should host the podcast, Dylan.
No, I shouldn't. I should host 2, maybe 3 or 4. I'm feeling the power. No, but that's really what I wanted to get across here. Is Tyler Shough has impressed, and it is not as dire of a situation whenever people were freaking out. It's like, oh, they drafted this 80-year-old rookie. Speaking of, shout out to Philip.
We don't get to do that anymore. Right.
We don't get to do that. We don't get to do that.
Right. Yeah, we don't get to make fun of the age. They talk about the age anymore. Philip Rivers came back at 44 years old, and the age conversation is moot.
So, if Tyler Shough played at 44, he would have a 17-year NFL career, and so
sounds successful to me.
So I think we could put it to rest. Yeah. All right. Now here's a question that is way harder. Oh, I don't think I ever answered. Yeah. I would probably stick with Cam Ward too, just right now, just because I was really high on him. I think tools to tools. I think they're very similar. Cam Ward. I don't know, still has a higher ceiling to me, but it's very close right now. And I think that Cam Ward is the only one I would think about taking.
Now y'all got me feeling bad for playing it safe, not wanting to gamble. I gave the blueprint for Cam Ward and was like, you know what, though, I'm scary, so I'm gonna go with Shough. You live with your decisions.
That's right. Okay. I'm excited to see what the listeners think about this. I'm super, super excited to see.
Well, it's probably going to be weird, terrible, and we don't know what we're talking about. It's Tyler Shough all the way.
A bunch of watches in there. Like you didn't even mention Shedeur. Like you see his 300 yards.
Anyway. I mentioned Shedeur. I'm all right on that. My bad.
My bad. He mentioned Shedeur dismissively.
Yeah, I'm
All
just
right.
dismissive over it.
That one is a tough question, but
Yeah.
I want to get even tougher, even harder. For me, at least, it is. It
Nope.
is. No. All right, Arvel, Reese, or Ruben Payne in the next draft class.
In Brandon Staley's defense.
Yes.
Brandon Staley's defense. Yeah. Darian, why don't you start us?
Okay. Mine's simple. Arvel Reese is the better fit in this defense next to Chase Young. So I'm going with
bingo.
Arvel Reese. Right.
Bingo.
Like we can talk about prospect for prospect, but you need prospects that fit your defense. And the prospect that fits the Saints and their need is a linebacker or an edge rusher who can also drop back. And Arvel has played off-ball linebacker. He's better suited to do that. So when I look at what the Saints need, if you want to say they're equal pass rushers, if you want to just say, hey, they just win in different ways, right? Because that's a valid point. They win different. That extra boost of I can drop back in coverage when you need me to. I've seen Carl Granderson and Chase Young have to drop back with people. I don't necessarily want to see Chase Young and Ruben Bain do it. I would like to see Arvel do it, though.
Yeah.
Let me stop calling him Arvel like we're best friends. I've seen Arvel Reese. I've seen Reese do it.
Like me and Arvel.
Yeah, man.
No, I'm with you 100%. Arvel Reese to me is the best player in this draft, and you can put Arvel Reese next to any other prospect in this year's draft, and I would take Arvel Reese, Ruben Bain included. So, and as you mentioned, Darian, in Brandon Staley's defense in particular, to get him a guy that can really and truly be that hybrid opposite the pass rush specialist in Chase Young, I think Arvel Reese would be I think Arvel would be the perfect fit.
Yeah, you know what? Arvel, we're all family here on this question.
I do think that Arvel is the best player in this class. So it is. I do think I do lean towards going with him, but I want to ask this question real quick about Mr. Arvel. It is. Do you see him as a potential replacement for Demario Davis at some point, or is he too much of a threat off the edge?
Yeah, I think I would. If you did that, I feel like you'd be taking him away from where he could be most impactful. And instead, you let a guy like Danny Stutzman develop behind Demario Davis, because Danny's kind of learning. I can call Danny. Danny's kind of learning both of those spots, the Demario Davis role as well as the weak side linebacker coverage role that or even strong side stuff that they're doing with some of these other guys. But, the ability to kind of move into Pete Werner's role as well. I think that a guy like Danny Stutzman is maximized there. And so I would want to use Arvel Reese off the edge and then let him be a guy that I can drop back into coverage when I want that, hook flat taken away or something like that. I would have him in a different position entirely. And I would love having Demario Davis, even if it's just for a year, I would love having Demario Davis and Arvel Reese on the field together.
And Danny Stutzman.
Yeah,
and Danny Stutzman.
And possibly, yeah. So I do think that's a really interesting question. And I refer back to a prospect from last year, Jalen, right? So Jalen Walker was in a position where he was just like Arvel. And they both played a lot of off-ball, on-ball. And I was interested to see what the split was. And I think before the first Falcons game, or the only Falcons game at this point, I took a look at how they were using Jalen Walker. He was never off-ball. He was pretty much rushing the passer every single time. That's what I look for in Reese, right? Like if he's able to rush the passer, that's what I'm going to have him do. It's the conversation of Micah Parsons all over again, where he starts out off ball, and then once he gets on ball, and I think it might have been because DeMarcus Lawrence was injured. It was one of them. One of their defensive ends were injured, and then they got healthy. It's like, okay, do you move them back to linebacker? No, because you want to keep your impactful players where they're the most impactful. So I would try to put Arvel in that position first. And if it doesn't work, then maybe at least he has some experience playing off ball. That's the way I would look at it. But the starting point is 100%, no question. I'm trying to play you as a pass rusher. And I don't think you have a situation like the Giants have where they have Thibodeau and Burns, and maybe they feel like Carter can also just kind of travel around. I don't think the Saints have that situation. That's just not the way that I view the two Saints pass rushers. So it's on the ball every time for Arvel Reese.
Yeah.
I don't think that Chase Young makes you not draft Ruben Bain, but I think that it makes you feel better about picking Arvel Reese over Ruben Bain.
Mhm.
Ruben Bain, just to put it out there, I think is an incredible pass rusher. Would be incredible to add to this defense. I'm a big fan of his, but I do think we tend to agree that Arvel Reese is just that step better.
Can I ask you something, Dylan?
Yeah.
I haven't done a lot of study on Bailey out of Tech. How would you feel if this conversation, right? His last name is Bailey. It just so happens to sound
No. I know what Dylan's about to say, so I was chuckling.
Okay.
David Bailey, the edge rusher out of Texas Tech, by the way.
Yes, I don't know how much dropping back he does at Tech and whatnot, but I would assume I think he's a little bit slimmer. But how would that conversation go for you if he was thrown into this?
Well, I think the Swagless Wonder is one of the it is a very good pass rusher. I would not want him dropping back or leaving back. He's definitely more of a Ruben Bain pure edge rusher, and I would think that we might talk about it a little bit later. I'd be more in line of a David Bailey as a third option or a pass rusher. Like maybe the Saints win a couple games, they fall to around the 10th pick. That's whenever you start having the David Bailey Swagless Wonder conversations. Just in my opinion, but I'm a big fan of his. All right. Well, let's keep this going. Let's play some Would You Rathers coming up next. I have a quick one for y'all. Would you rather pay a lot of money for your mobile service or pay not as much money for your mobile service? That's where today's special comes in. Mint Mobile. There's no reason to let big wireless drain your wallet, especially during the holidays. Right now, Mint Mobile is running their best deal of the year. All of their unlimited plans are 50% off. That means you can lock in a 3, 6, or even 12 months of unlimited premium wireless for just $15 a month. It's the easiest way to take your overpriced phone bill and give it the full Scrooge treatment. You don't know how hard it was to not make a 6-7 joke there, but they don't offer a 7-month service, so it would have been misleading. Turn your expensive wireless present into a huge wireless savings future by switching to Mint. Shop Mint unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. That's mintmobile.com/lockedonnFL. Limited time offer, upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months. Plan required, 15 months equivalent. Taxes and fees, initial plan term only. More than 35 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com for more. All right. Let's get 6, 7. All right, I can do it. Let's
you got it.
It's all Ross. I thought it was gonna be a 369 joke. Like I thought that's what
I saw somebody the other day with a license plate and the last 3 numbers were 369. No, it was a bus. It was bus 369, and I was like, oh, I would have killed for that in like the 2000s.
Come on, man.
Anyway, sorry, Dylan.
You're right. You're all right. I want to get into more of a philosophical question of how you approach the game rather than player versus player. This is an interesting one. What do you think is more important, run defense or passive? Would you rather have a top end run defense and a middling pass defense, or a top end pass defense and a middling run defense?
Oh,
I'm gonna start the bidding where I think I fall is a top end pass defense, middle of the road run defense, and I want to use a recent NFL example. I don't know if y'all have heard. We might have talked about it. We did. Phillip Rivers is playing quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. He could. It is one of the reasons is because young quarterbacks, there is an epidemic of the NFL of young quarterbacks don't know how to run or read defenses. They don't know what's going on. That's why they have to go to a 44-year-old. Imagine being a QB2 somewhere or like a QB3, a practice squad quarterback, and you're like, y'all are getting, this man has not played football since before the pandemic or like right after the pandemic. Like there are people that don't know who Phillip Rivers are that are football stands. This man has not played in years, and you're going to him instead of giving me a shot. And it's just because Phillip Rivers knows what he's looking at, knows how to process defense. So if you could get a pass defense that could confuse a quarterback, shut down their team, make them one-dimensional through the ground, I think you have a better chance to make up ground than vice versa. But Ross, how do you feel?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I would much rather have a top tier pass defense with a middling run defense than than like the opposite. The way that I look at it is that obviously if you're giving up a lot of yards on the ground, you're potentially in situations where they can control the clock, but they're probably not putting up as many points. And that to me is kind of the biggest piece. If you're a middle of the road passing defense, you're probably giving up points. Or if you're worse than a middle of the road defense, you're definitely giving up points. And so for me, I would much rather not give up points than not give up rushing yards. That is an easy conversation for me. I think I'm all about having that top tier pass defense and then the middle of the road rushing defense. In fact, I would take a top tier pass defense and a low 20s rushing defense before I would take a top tier number 1 rushing defense and a middle of the road passing defense. That's an easy decision for me.
Darian?
I'm gonna also, it's a clean sweep. I'm gonna go with the
Clean
pass
sweep.
defense. Yeah, because I mean, at what point can a passing offense get phased out? At what point does that occur? It doesn't really, right? Like you can be up so much that you can't run the football, but if the passing attack from the offense is off the table, it means because you're getting beat pretty bad, right? Like you're in a huge deficit. But if I have a bad pass defense, 3rd and longs don't feel safe. Leads feel less safe, right? Like it's in explosive plays feel more like touchdowns as opposed to, okay, somebody can chase them down. Like there just feels so many more downsides to having an average pass defense and a top tier run defense. Obviously you want to have them both, but that's not the situation that's presented to us because that would be too easy. So we all agree. So I'm not going to go too long on it, but yeah, give me the pass defense.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe one of these days we'll disagree on one of these. Let's go to another one. I want to go with, would you rather draft Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate at wide receiver in the next round? Because you have Carnell Tate, who people call a better Michael Thomas, which is crazy. And then you have Jordan Tyson, who is like the do-it-all superstar project, but he has the injury history of Michael Thomas. So what is
right? Good point. Good point.
So what matters more to you? Where do you land? Let's start off with Darian.
Give me Tyson. Give me the guy who's going to do it all. And obviously, if the medicals have to clear, but I feel like that should be an assumption to me, right? Like I feel like that should be an assumption that's being made if he's on the table. If he's on the table, give me Tyson. I want the player who runs after the catch. I'm enamored with run after catch receivers. I don't think the Saints have that on their team right now, at least not someone they're utilizing in that way good enough. So I'll take Tyson as the guy who can do everything, be my 50-50 ball guy, be my run after the catch guy, be my clear-cut number 1 wide receiver. So I think that for me, it's not an easy decision, but Tyson is the type of receiver I want, and he's also just the everything type of guy. So I think he checks a lot of boxes.
For added context, I believe it's been a knee injury where he tore his ACL, MCL, PCL, a collarbone injury, and a hamstring injury in college for Jordan Tyson. Definitely not exciting to hear that, but the player on the field makes it feel a little bit better. Ross, where do you fall?
Yeah, I'm Tyson as well, but here's if I'm going to caveat it a little bit. Here's the instance in which I would take Carnell Tate instead. If you were to ask me Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate, I'll go Jordan Tyson. But if you were to ask me Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate, and then later in the draft, Zachariah Branch, and for some reason otherwise I couldn't get Jordan Tyson and Zachariah Branch, I would take Carnell Tate and Zachariah Branch 10 times out of 10. Because then you get a yards after catch guy that's a real good yards after catch guy. And you get the most impressive thing to me about Carnell Tate's game, 86.7% of his contested catch opportunities that he's had this season, 14 of those, he's caught 12. He caught 86.7% of those. And so for me, like that's a big part of the element of what I would want for a young quarterback, a guy that can erase a little bit of those tight window throws for you because every throw becomes an open throw. But what I do like a lot about Jordan Tyson, just 1-to-1 to Carnell Tate, is that presuming he's healthy, he is an inaccuracy eraser. He's like a Stephon Diggs. So if you get the ball somewhere around him, he's going to find a way to reel it in. I think that's very, very valuable. And so I would take him and his ability to make catches all over the football field. And as Darian highlighted, having a little bit of that run after catch opportunity with him too, I think is really important.
We have our first disagreement.
There we go.
I'm going to go with Carnell Tate. Darian, 58 targets this year. Do you know what his drop rate is? How many drops Carnell Tate has?
2.
0.
That was close.
Jordan Tyson's only got a 1.9% drop percentage, though.
Hey, but is that high? Is that higher than 0? Is that higher than 0?
Higher than 0. It's higher than 0.
Wait.
It's a concern.
Math question. Is 0 lower than 1.9?
No, you're right. I'm just saying it's not like we're talking about 0 versus a 12% drop percentage here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Production: 48 catches, 838 yards, 9 touchdowns for Carnell Tate. You're thinking that's not crazy. Oh yeah, he's the wide receiver 2. He's the second option in that offense. He's a great route runner. He brings the size that you need alongside Chris Olave. He's taller. He's bigger. He is. You already mentioned the hands. I think that you go with Carnell Tate here. As much as I do love Jordan Tyson, I would be mad at either of them.
We forgot the most important piece to this equation too.
Mm-hmm.
Carnell Tate, Ohio State. There is that.
So that means he is going to be the pick.
Yeah,
that is that.
Let me throw this in there about Tyson. One of the things that I love as far as intangibles is just his ability to rise to the occasion. Like that's something that you see when you watch him. Oh, yeah, they're going to go to Jordan Tyson, and they do, and it works. And that's not always just the case for everybody, and that's not a comparison between Tate and Tyson. This is just Tyson. I've seen it, and when I say I've seen it, I watched it firsthand when they played TCU. Like I saw it where in the clutch moments, his quarterback was able to target him when everybody knew that's where it was going, and it felt effortless. Now, I don't know if we have any more would you rathers. I can't remember. Forgive my memory.
We do.
Okay, then I'll be quiet, and we'll save that for another conversation around draft time.
All right. Another would you rather. This one's interesting. Would you rather draft a running back or sign a free agent running back to go along with Alvin Kamara? And
I know, man.
To make it less of a just a random hypothetical, I have some unrestricted free agents in the next running back free agency class, the 2026 class. Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle, Elijah Mitchell, Nick Chubb, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins, Jerome Ford, Raheem Mostert, and those are like the big names. Rashad White. Those are like the big names that are going to be UFAs, according to Spot Track. So maybe they're not. Maybe they're wrong, but those are the names I have in front of me.
Dream, I go get Breece Hall. I mean,
yeah, for real.
That'd be great. I don't know.
I feel the same way about Travis Etienne. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe.
Yeah. But I think even in general, I would probably go sign a running back, especially if I'm thinking about, because I approach this from a Jeremiah Love perspective, right? Like I just tell you straight up, I approach this from a running back in the first round. I would like to get a running back who, if you're saying you're going to get 2-3 years out of your running back, that's fine. In 2-3 years, I feel like the Saints are in a place to where they can go invest in that young running back who's going to really make their team go. When I look at the running backs that were drafted early and the teams had success, there was also a lot of talent around them. And because of that, I would want to get a lot of talent around my running back, but I don't want to completely ignore the position, right? And I like Devin Neal. We'll see what Devin Neal is able to do, but I don't want to completely ignore the position if I still feel like I need to address it. So I will go with a running back who maybe is a little bit older, maybe doesn't have as much of a shelf life, but when his shelf life is done or you feel like, all right, it's time to move on, then I can go invest in that first round running back who's going to be the cherry on top, who's going to be the guy who kind of adds an extra boost to my team. Or even if he ends up being good and I get David Montgomery, next year I end up getting my Jahmyr Gibbs. So I'm okay with that too. But I would definitely go sign a veteran running back just because of clock and timeline.
If the Saints do if the Saints do end up winning some games, we'll talk about that in a second, and fall into that 10 range, I would love to draft Jeremiah Love. But I'm not in love with most of the running back line. I haven't watched a lot of film or done a deep dive into the running back class. I guess I should because I do really want a new running back. But how I view it right now, I think you could run it back with Devin Neal, Alvin Kamara maybe, and then sign like a Javonte Williams or like someone that is going to be a little bit more available, maybe like a J.K. Dobbins or even like, I don't know, like a Kenneth Gainwell. Sign a third running back and then use the pieces to get you a young running back later and use the draft capital you have now to improve the team around them. Because what if you do hit on a running back this year, you get him, you have him for the next 5 years. By the time that you build the rest of your team, his shelf life's gone. And then you have to replace him because running backs, they turn over quick in the NFL.
I don't know if you said Kenneth Walker. I would Kenneth Walker. I would take Kenneth Walker as well. I don't know if he was. I think he's a unrestricted free agent that's coming up. I would. I just throwing names out there. I kind of jumped and said I would take Breece Hall. Kenneth Walker's another guy who I don't think he makes it out of Seattle, but if he did,
I mean, he might. They seem to hate him.
I think he'll make it out of Seattle. Yeah, they don't like him very much over there.
Really? They got Zach Charbonnet, man.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just like him.
I like him too.
I like him
It's been confusing, but
they like draft a running back every chance that they get behind him and everything like that. They just keep adding to the position.
Come on down. All right, come on down.
I think I'll disagree here. I'll go to the draft because I want to spend my free agency resources on my offensive line. I don't want to go spending on a player that I might get 6 games out of. And that's what you run the risk of getting when you go with the veteran running back. I will go with Nicholas Singleton out of Penn State or Katron Allen out of Penn State. Like those two guys in particular, I absolutely love. And so getting one of those guys to pair up with Devin Neal and then let those guys start to take the mantle, if you will, from the Alvin Kamara side of it all. We'll see what happens with Kendre Miller, but I would invest in the draft. Or if I needed to go to free agency, Kenneth Gainwell, I think would be excellent because at least he's got some experience with Kellen Moore that I think could be good. But I would go draft.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's another unsuccessful one. No, that was we disagreed.
We disagreed on that one. Yeah.
That was good. All right. When we come back, let's get into some game picks and bold predictions for this game against the Carolina Panthers. I was thinking about testing Darian, but I think he knows.
He's at 325.
There you go. Look at him.
Oh, actually, I didn't know that. So
extra
bonus point. Darian wins the Would You Rather game. Right. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. I'm talking like Tyler Shough breaks off a big run. The game feels different. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment you can get in on. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and even more. It keeps you locked into every single snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Before we move on from the gamesmanship part of it, I want to ask y'all a real random question. Darren, this is going to be thrown on you, so I'm going to go to you last. With Phillip Rivers coming back, me and Ross talked about this earlier, which New Orleans Saint would you want to come out of retirement?
Yeah.
Obviously, I won't steal the obvious one.
Drew Brees is not an option.
No, I think Lance is busy on Sunday.
No, I got it. I got it. Jari. Bring back Jari.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Bring back Jari. I think I heard one of y'all talking about this earlier. Yeah, bring back Jari. The guards hurt. The weak point is offensive line. You go Jari or Carl Nix, right? Like either
I was
one.
gonna say Carl Nix, yeah.
Bring them both back because you need them both. So and we seen what that was able to do for Breeze. I always find it funny that they went from having probably the best guard duo to having the best tackle duo. Just a different.
And now they have neither. No, I'm joking. Actually, I like the offensive line.
Unless you're Phil Yates, and then you might say that they don't have the right tackle and they need to move longer into guard. But you know, it just depends on who you are. But yeah, give me Jari Evans because you need to fortify that inside.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I would go Jari Evans or Carl Nix. I was going to give Carl Nix a shout because no one ever really talks about Carl Nix, but I love the small school aspect of Jari Evans too. And of course, he's been coaching, so I think he might still be ready. Yeah, I would go with one of those guys.
You know what I'm saying? You can always go Vilma. If you ever heard his Saints coverage, he's obviously still ready to be Saints.
Yeah.
Listen, I know that podcast money is sweet, but Tyrann, we can still use you in the secondary. I'll bring back Tyrann Mathieu at least in a bit of a role, just because. I mean, truthfully, he is one of my first favorite athletes of all time. Just from LSU, one of my first football memories of going to a game was watching Tyrann Mathieu force a fumble against the Kentucky Wildcats. So I would love to see him continue watching football. If not, so I don't feel old by watching him retire and do a podcast.
There you go. Fair enough.
If only for that reason.
Yeah, there's a few retired Saints that one who officially retired, but
Derek Carr.
Oh, yeah, come back so that they can trade him and get more draft capital.
Yeah, you know,
that's
might as well.
Since
we just saying stuff, bring Ian Book back. Is he retired?
Nah, he's throwing packages on doorsteps. I'm just.
Jesus, man. Gosh.
Oh,
let that man have a life. What is he doing right now? He only won a Super Bowl last year.
Oh yeah, man. All right. Who else can say that?
Yeah,
he's doing more successful than I am. So
he's not on the team right now.
So as Ross looks up his current occupation,
look up his LinkedIn.
Chris Bell tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Oh, unfortunate.
Yeah. Schefter just tweeted that out, I think like 20 minutes ago or whatever. But he tore his ACL, and that's going to be an interesting. What happens with his draft stock? Can he go back? I don't know his eligibility right now. I don't know if he would, but an ACL means he's probably going to miss at least the first half of next year, I would assume.
Looks like he was an intern at the Mankind Corporation in 2018. Graduated from the University of Notre Dame with a College of Business Marketing, but he hasn't updated his LinkedIn while he's still says professional athlete. So, you know, that's I was half expecting to see Open and Network on his it's probably okay. Sorry, enough Ian Book. He seems like a great guy. It was just, man, that game against the Dolphins. All right, let's talk about the game against the Carolina Panthers. Enough dilly-dallying around. Game picks and bold predictions. Start off with Ross. How do you feel? Oh, actually, should we start off with the people who aren't here?
Oh, yeah. Let's get them in real quick.
Let's get them out of the way because they didn't. John and Lance didn't bother to show up. Lance sent Saints 27-24 with Charlie Smith game winner as his bold prediction.
I dig that. And I think so here's the thing about the Charlie Smith conversation then. If that happens, you have to put him on the active roster and let him continue to kick for the rest of the year, right? Like they're in this unique situation to where they'll use his third elevation on Saturday to get him up, who will be the kicker on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. I asked Kellen more about that on Monday. But then they could use the three elevations of Cade Yorks to get a look at him at the end of the season as well. And then have a look at both of these. But I think if Charlie Smith boots, especially from distance, a game winner at the end of this game, I feel like you just put him on the active roster and then let him cook.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know they weren't meaningful games, but I didn't see Blake Grupe do that a lot in clutch moments. That was one of my biggest problems, is that when games were on the line or when things were meaningful, it felt like he didn't really rise to the occasion. I could think back to the Green Bay game a couple of years ago. You could think back to it. Just felt anytime the fourth quarter.
Which one I remember?
Which one?
When I flew all the way out to London to cover the team playing against the Minnesota Vikings and he missed a game winner. I was just like, oh, okay.
Like I just feel like Blake Groupie missed all the game winners and fourth quarter kicks that could help. Like if
the Saints had a better record, there would have been more meaning to the games, and he would have had something to kick for.
Well, maybe if you were down 10 and the field goal gets you down 7, sounds pretty meaningful to me. But you know what? You would miss that too. That was my biggest gripe. Like, man, not a big time player, but it's okay, I guess.
All right. Actually, I was saying John never sent us his. John never sent anything.
I know that he was struggling. He was wrestling with the idea of taking the Saints. Like I think he wants to take the Saints in this matchup. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, Ross.
Yeah.
You're here.
Yeah.
What was your pick?
Yeah. I'm taking the Saints. I'm going Saints 23-20 or 23-19. I just think that the Saints have a real good opportunity to win here and get their first back-to-back set of wins, keep Tyler Shough's momentum going. They know the game plan up against the Carolina Panthers, what they have to do, take away Rico Dowdle, and then keep Bryce Young uncomfortable. Let Alontae Taylor keep doing what Alontae Taylor does in games against Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. I think the Saints have a real opportunity here, and I don't think that they're going to take a chance, or I would like to say that they won't screw this up, which is an opportunity to win in front of their home fans and give Tyler Shough his first win at home.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the opposite. I'm going Panthers to win. We've already done this. Saints, have momentum. They played well. Let's ride it into the next week. And you know what that happened? They lost. They got embarrassed by a bad team. So I'm not buying fully on the fact that just because they played well in the last game, you're going to play well in this game. I think if we're doing that, the Carolina Panthers have much more reason to be confident. They beat the Los Angeles Rams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they also beat the Packers. They also beat the Packers before they lost to the Saints last time. So,
that's fair. It's almost like the NFL is a week-to-week game.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah,
never.
It's hard to beat a team twice in an NFL season. But I just do feel more comfortable or confident that the Panthers can pull it off. Now, not to say I think the Saints are going to be terrible in this game. I think it'll be a closer game, maybe hopefully a little entertaining of a game, but I do trust the Panthers a little bit more.
Yeah, fair.
That's fair. Everything in my gut tells me that the Saints are going to lose this game for some reason, but I'm not picking with my gut. So I'm actually picking the Saints because I do that. My mind says the Saints have the momentum. The Saints have some advantages. I think that they've shown an advantage in multiple situations. In the first matchup, the lack of pass rush, I think that they could contain Rico Dowdle again, even though I know run defense hasn't necessarily been the strong suit. And they just seem to have a lot of luck against Bryce Young. So on paper, it just feels like I think the Saints win this game. I got 27-20. I don't know if this is bold enough when you have some of the other things that people have said, but the Saints finally scored 26 points. Which they haven't done. I think they're one of 2 to 3 teams who haven't scored 26 points or more.
They scored 26 season. Once.
Or more than 26, I believe.
Yeah.
It was. Mm-hmm. So they haven't scored more than 26. And I think every team except maybe like the Raiders, it's not a bunch you want to be in.
Yeah, it's bad company.
But my prediction is that they finally surpass 26 points. So that's my bold prediction.
I think that's a good bold prediction, honestly. I mean, let's be real. They haven't done it all season. So if they do it, it's a bold thing.
Oh. I didn't give my bold prediction.
Yeah,
my bold prediction is that Audric Estime scores a rushing touchdown.
Dang it. You stole my bold prediction. I was going to go back to the Audric Estime all right, well, I won't do that. And instead, I will say that, you know what? I'm going to go Alontae Taylor gets a sack and 2 takeaways in this game. It could be maybe a fumble recovery, or let's say contributes to 2 takeaways. So it could be forcing a fumble or recovering a fumble, an interception, something like that. But some duo of those things and gets a sack in this game.
I'll throw another one out there then. Devin Neal's going for 100 yards, first 100-yard rusher of the year.
Ooh.
I'll throw it out there too.
I was gonna go Tyler Shough 300-yard passing game because there's Carolina has no pass rush. and JC Horn's in concussion protocol or working his way back from concussion protocol.
It's funny because, well, not his concussion, but it's funny that I was going to say Vele 100 yards. I was trying to find somebody to be 100 yards.
Evan Hull, 100 yards game.
There you go.
Yeah. Come on now. Taysom Hill, 100-yard game.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Chase Young, 100-yard game. I don't know how, but he's going to get it. 100 yards worth of sacks.
Yeah, I know you saw Kellen Moore throw that ball to the goalpost. Kellen Moore, 100-yard game.
100-yard game. I like it. I like it.
I love it.
All right.
Still got it.
All right.
Oh, I know what my bold prediction is going to be. I'm going to change my bold prediction. Tyler Shough over 106 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns, both of which would get him the rookie records in this game for most passing yards and passing touchdowns as a Saints rookie quarterback.
Is he going to run for 66 yards as well and take that crown?
Oh, I guess he could take that too, huh? Yeah, you're right. No. I'm gonna chill because I've given like 7 bold predictions already. But genuinely, that's the one I'm gonna go with. He gets both of the passing records.
If any of those other ones happen, don't expect any type of credit, Ross.
Fair.
Any type of credit.
I didn't stand on business. All right. When
we come back, we are going to definitely not stand on business. We're going to change our record predictions based off of one week of added context. We'll see how we think the Saints are going to perform for the rest of the season. Let's wrap up today's show. What were you going to say, Darren?
I said, it's us again. You jumped. You screamed.
All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about how we think the Saints are going to do over the last 4 games of the season. Again, we've already given what we think is going to happen in this game, but let's extrapolate that out for the rest of the season because there are some winnable games, and you might now feel a little bit more confident about the New Orleans Saints. I believe I had them at winning going 2-3 over the final 5 weeks. I'm going to keep that the same. Actually, I'm gonna, all of that talk about that. I think they lost. I'm gonna go 2-2 over the final 4 weeks of the season.
I like it. That's kind of
2-2.
Which 2?
Yeah.
So not Carolina.
Yeah.
Not Carolina. I'm gonna go with the Jets and the Falcons.
It's good.
Wait, actually, no, Titans, Falcons.
Oh, okay. Oh, they're gonna end on a 2-game win streak,
and we're gonna feel great about it.
We talked about that when we did that the first time about how would you feel if they. I think Ross, you might have brought up how would you feel if you won the last 2 or 3 as opposed to win. I can't remember exactly how you put it, but I know it was win the last Falcon game opposed to winning the first Falcon game. And I remember you put that scenario out there. It's always interesting because with everything being a future focused season, ending on a 2-game winning streak ideally would create so much optimism, but it also feels like you've had these spikes, so it may end up feeling a little up and down because you beat the Panthers and then you go boom, drop to the Falcons, boom, drop to Miami, but you had a kind of a peak at the end of that game. You come out and you beat the Buccaneers. You drop this game to Carolina. It could just begin to feel like you're just riding waves as opposed to actually having optimism being built, So I don't know. I think my answer at the time would be I would prefer to win the end. But I think now, I'd probably prefer to space those out a little bit. I don't know. I got them going 3-1 because my gut is going to be 3-1. I know. I'm off that Shough pack.
Your gut says 3-1, but your gut said not against the Panthers. So you were thinking 3-game win streak at the end.
Lose to the Panthers. Sorry, my gut says it, but I went with my mind. So my mind says they're going to beat the Panthers, but my gut tells me that if they're going to drop a game, it's going to be Carolina.
This one, and then they'll win 3 straight. Gotcha.
But because I am a walking contradiction, I'm going to stick with 3-1, and somehow that one is going to happen. I don't have the Dylan prediction where I know exactly what my wins and losses are going to be because he's better than me. But I am going to have the just 3-1 in general, where I feel like the Saints do pull off, a momentum building into the season. That's what I'm going to predict. Also, Tyler Shough is, and this isn't a bold prediction at all. This is honestly a pretty safe prediction, but Tyler Shough's going to go down as the most decorated rookie quarterback in Saints history. I don't know if that's a super high bar, but it is what he's going to be. He's going to have the most passing yards.
He might already be there.
He's close because watch.
He's really close.
He's going to have the most passing yards. He already has the most passing and rushing yards from a rookie quarterback in a single game. He's going to have the most rushing and passing yards by a rookie quarterback in a season. He's going to have the most passing touchdowns with just 2. He needs 4 to have the most total touchdowns by a rookie quarterback. And he's a game away from tying Archie for having the most wins at 3, 2 away from surpassing it. You have the most wins, passing, rushing yards in a season. You have the most passing, rushing yards in a game. You have the most touchdowns. This is going to be, and once again, it would take an ant to limbo underneath the bar that has been set by previous Saints rookie quarterbacks. But
that's so good.
To be the best and most decorated rookie season by a Saints quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's a great call. And you're right. It is a low bar, but it's a bar that somebody's got to clear. And it's kind of cool that it's Tyler Shough that's doing it.
There's a rookie quarterback last year that didn't.
Right.
There is.
Right.
He did.
And there was a rookie quarterback the year before that didn't either.
Yeah.
Ian Book. You guys remember? No, Jake Haener. And then it was Ian Book before that. Sorry.
Yeah.
But Darian's right. That Spencer Rattler did get the rookie passing record, right? Rookie passing yards record last year. So I'll give him a shot for that. I'm going 2-2 over the course of the last 4. And here's how I think it happens. I think the Saints actually get a 3-game win streak. I think they won the game against the Bucs. And this is a change from where I was the last time. They won the game against the Bucs. I think they win against Carolina. I think they win against the Jets because they're awful. But then I think they lose their last 2 games on the road. Because it feels like the most Saints thing to do is like go on this run and everything's feeling really good and then end in a really confusing fashion at the end of the season that feels like a story we've told before. And so I'm gonna roll with that. And then that would put them at what? They put them at 4 wins on the season.
5?
Or that'd be 5 wins. 5 wins, right? Because they have 3 right now, so they'd win 2 more. Right. Thank you. So put them at 5 wins. That's what my preseason prediction was for them. Just not in any of the games that I said that it would be, except for the Jets game.
I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Swept by the Falcons would be brutal.
Yeah.
Like just from a petty standpoint.
Oh
man,
yeah.
I know. One year, I tweeted out some of the famous video of Denzel Washington, and it was the Saints had the worst record, one of the worst seasons in years, but they beat the Falcons. So I said, "Wait, I'll leave it here with something." And it was that famous clip because at the end of the day, all you have to do is beat the Falcons, and people will like it.
Yep.
We talked about how quickly it went wrong for Derek Carr. Tyler Shough has the chance to make it go quickly because he's a likable person. He is putting out with the community. He's doing well. Shout out to Raising Cane's. He's the only quarterback to do charity.
Shout out to Chipotle. Don't forget that. You don't forget.
I love that he actually went to like a New Orleans establishment when he first arrived, and so that hasn't become a big thing. All that, yeah.
It's been a thing. So if they do win a couple games, they'll probably drop in the draft order. Does that worry you? Does that not? How do you feel?
Fair.
Yeah. Once we've established that Shough is the guy, draft became a little bit less of a conversation. I'm not going to say it's unimportant, but the whole gotta be here, it's held less urgency for me. And I look at it, if we're going with you two, right? Like we're going to go with you two saying that they win 2 more games and they end up at 5. The Minnesota Vikings have 5 wins at the 11th overall pick. Everybody else, I guess, below them or above them, 12 and on, has 6. So that means you're going to drop no lower than 11. You're likely going to still be in the top 10, but you have a floor of 11 at 5 wins. I feel like the Saints are going to still be in a good position to get a really talented player at a position of need. So I'm not as concerned about it.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at it, these other teams have to play games too. Over the fast road, there's going to be teams that win. There's going to be teams that lose. Yeah. You don't immediately jump to the 10.
If I'm not mistaken, like I think some of them actually play each
other.
other.
Well, the Saints play 2 of them.
Right.
the Jets and the Titans.
Yeah, let me see the Raiders play.
Yeah, it's going to make it a little bit tougher. But yeah, no, I'm not worried about the draft position. I said this on the Daily Show the other day, to where I was like, if you talk to any coach, player, staff member, front office member before the season, and you at 0-0, and you ask them what is it that they want to do at the end of the season, they're going to be telling you about how they want to win games, they want to be a playoff team, they want to go to the Super Bowl, they want to win a Super Bowl. Nobody's saying I want the highest draft pick possible. And so don't change your mentality now just because you started losing. You need to build, and Dylan, this is to your point from last week, you need to build a winning culture that people are going to want to be a part of. And we talk a lot about the draft, but free agency is also an opportunity for you to go through the player acquisition process and bring players and add to your team. And so we can't ignore that making yourself marketable and desirable in free agency is just as important as having a high draft pick.
I did a quick simulation of the season, and it was using the 2 wins that I felt like the Saints would have, and then how I think the rest of the teams would their seasons would play out. And I have the Saints at 5-12, picking with the 7th overall slot, and I think that's perfectly fine.
It's a good situation.
If you're at 7, you start to wonder, maybe Caleb Downs falls. He's a DB.
Right.
Maybe a pass rusher falls. Maybe that's a little bit too early for the swagless wonder, but if they like him, I wouldn't mind a David Bailey. I would definitely take Jeremiah Love at 7.
Yeah,
I'd be fine.
Sure.
I'd be fine with that.
And
either of Carnell, Tate, or Jordan
yep,
Tyson.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's
those top
plenty
2
of
wideouts
talent.
be there.
You're gonna leave at 7 in this class with an impact skill player.
You're leaving there with something.
You leave there with something. I'd say you can leave with an impact skill position player, which is what the Saints need. You can. You might not. You might not.
Right, but you can. You can. Shout out to the NFL, by the way, reducing the first round from 10 minutes of selection to 8 minutes of selection. The NFL doesn't do a lot of things right. That was a good thing that they did right there. Well done. Good choice.
Yeah. Well, since we're a little bit early, I can go to what I was going to ask earlier because it stayed on my brain before.
Yeah.
Would you rather? You're talking about Tyson versus Tate. What does the drafting of them in you guys' mind mean for how you also view Olave's role on this team or future with this team?
Yeah, I think Dylan, you mind if I jump in?
Nope.
Actually, you know what? You do all the hosting. You always end up. You go first.
Oh, I get to go first.
You go first.
I don't know, Ross. You go. No,
right, so.
I'd go. No, I don't know if it impacts it too much. I think it says more about the depth because I'd say if you draft Carnell Tate, I think it assumes that they view Chris Olave as their long-term big playmaker, like down the field, stretch the field, their speedster. I think that it brings confidence to that because then you don't need the Jordan Tyson to be your number 1. Carnell Tate, I think, fits along Chris Olave as a number 2 just as well. If you're drafting Jordan Tyson, you're looking for that new top-end playmaker to work out. That's how I view it.
Gotcha. To me, I look at Chris Olave as a good complement to either one of those players, and either one of those players a good complement to Chris Olave. And so I feel like one of them becomes your X while the other one becomes your Z, with Chris Olave being the guy that becomes a Z. He becomes a flanker, kind of lines up off the line of scrimmage, get him off of playing with a man coverage or press man coverage stuff, although he's really good against press. And then you continue to be able to move him around to where you can move him into the slot. You can have Bailey on the outside, or you can put Bailey in the slot as a big slot and then move Olave to the outside. And then you can have Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate be your X and be that guy that is split in by himself. But then you can switch that up every now and then. And so for me, like the way that I look at it is that it's not that one becomes your first option versus your second option. It's just that they get utilized in different areas of the field. Jordan Tyson as well as Carnell Tate become 3-level threats, whereas Chris Olave becomes a 2nd and 3rd level threat. And then Devon Vele is somebody that you can move around. Then you add in Jalen Polk. You potentially have Trey Palmer, who could potentially be back next year. All those other pieces that can be field stretcher guys too. And so that's the way that I kind of view it. I think that either one of them would be a perfect addition alongside Elijah Surratt, alongside Thomas Brazel out of Tennessee. Like there are a lot of these players that could be good X receiver types with versatility, right? X receiver plus types where you can continue to utilize Chris Olave all around the offensive formation.
Yeah, that's a good point. The reason I ask, and I think Ross did a great job of like breaking down the positions as opposed to the numbers, right? So I think you have people who look at wide receiver in numbers, and you have people who look at wide receiver in letters. And Ross looks at them in letters. I think I think it's easy to talk about first option, second option, and I ask that because if I'm using Olave as my first option, I don't know if I'm drafting a wide receiver at 7 to be my second option. I just don't know if I may choose to prioritize elsewhere and then go get in the early 30s. Saints play well enough, maybe late 30s, maybe early 40s. If the Saints play well enough, I may try to get a wide receiver there. If I'm paying Olave in this offseason, like you're going to be my number one top guy, that's my thought process. I don't know if I might say, let me get an edge rusher as opposed to a quote unquote wide receiver too. That's the reason I put that question out there and ask.
Makes perfect sense
for Olave. But once again, when we get to the end of the season and we start talking draft, I think that's going to be something that's very interesting because the draft is just repurposing the same players, except for here, where we're going to give you full depth and Locked On Saints, where you get 7-round mock drafts. Make sure you're checking that out.
This dude.
But
company man,
come on now. Come on, man. Locked On. You see? It's on my chest. But no, seriously, it's about like just looking at all these different angles for these players. So I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But I wanted to ask that while we were on the topic.
Good catch. Good stuff.
Of course. All right. Well, that does it. That does it forever. We're never going back.
We've done it.
We finished the New Orleans Saints. No. Thank you for listening. We'll be right back here. We will be right back here on Sunday after the Saints lose to the Panthers or win against the Panthers. That'd be better. But check out me, Ross, John, Elias, and Darian on our socials for the latest. We'll be right back here to talk to y'all. Until then, make sure to check out Ross Jackson and Locked On Saints. You might like it.
Don't forget the Pelicans. We have 3 hosts right now of solo shows.
That's right.
Let's go. Locked On Pelicans. Come listen to my last couple of episodes. It's going to be a fun. We're talking a lot of Derek Queen this week. And then Darian Gray with Locked On TCU. Well, Locked On Horned Frogs.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Not the last couple of episodes, but just like you, I'll be back on episodes in the future.
All right. We'll talk to y'all on Sunday.